Hi, welcome back to the YouTube channel. Um, Sunday, I decided to take a day off. You know what I mean? Sunday's a rest day. And yeah, let's just get straight into it. As I have revealed on this channel several times, that I love China. I've been to China late December last year. I went. They don't celebrate Christmas over there. It was only my hotel that played a little bit of Christmas music, or like in some of the shopping centers. Well, it was great. On New Year's, went to Hong Kong. It was great as well. Saw the fireworks, amazing. And yes, so when I go to China, especially I hang around Discord a lot. So I have some friends in the US who I've also met, and I have some friends obviously in Europe because that's where I'm from. And whenever some are 50-50. And before I say anything else, I went to China before Speed did, okay? I didn't watch Speed streams, and I was like, I don't want to go there. As I said, I went late December last year, early this year, okay? But when Speed was there, I'm gonna tie it. A lot of people were shocked to see how Speed was doing in China. And when people saw me in China or heard that I went to China, pardon me, they were like, how could you go to a country that like doesn't have privacy? Everything is controlled. Everything is like is weird over there. This is like it's a controlled country. And I'm thinking like, is this what people really think about China? The video's not about China. Um the video, I already wrote the title down, The End of Privacy. Everyone is watching. And and what I'm trying to say is, I really enjoyed my time in China, like a lot. And it is way better. Like when I went to the US last year as well, I went to San Diego. And when I went to China, I felt like the things we say about these countries should be swapped, maybe. um, because the way we speak about China, like being like all this weird stuff, and how greatly we speak about the US, especially about the privacy, I think it's a little bit tricky. And the reason, so instead of pointing the finger to China, and before I say this, because I feel like everyone has to say this, I'm not getting paid. I'm in Europe, okay? I'm in Europe. I'm not in China. So no one in China has reached out to me or whatever. I'm not getting paid for this. But if China wants to sponsor a trip for me and maybe my mom, hey, reach out to me. Would love to go to China, but hey, what I'm saying is, yes, let's just get into the video. Okay, this is where my issue is. So this video is not about China. As I said before, this video is about privacy. Okay, I just wanted to use this whole China things as an opener, because I didn't really know how to talk about it. And so we keep, people in the West, we keep pointing to China as like a bully. Like we just say like, oh, they have surveillance issue. That's why they want to shut down apps like TikTok, because the way they handle data. I think in the US they banned CapCut. They did ban TikTok, I think, for a whole day, and things like WeChat that they use over there. And then it's just like, okay, that's true. I think the US has issues because they can't control it. So, but then when we look at Facebook, Amazon, Google, um, what else do we have? Microsoft, like all these big conglomerates, Apple, they have big issues, but they hide everything under terms of services. You know what I mean? I think a lot of these apps are under Congress or like in court, paying fines and stuff like that. And the same things that you accuse other countries of saying, oh, freedom of speech or surveillance and stuff like that, is the same stuff is happening over here. And what is happening with our privacy? Why, instead of being transparent with the people in Europe and in America and everywhere else, being transparent about the apps that we use that are American or European made or wherever, instead of saying, yo, there are privacy issues, we point at another country. Do you know what I mean? Again, so let's have a look. Let's have a look here. The trusty iPad comes out all the time. And here we have Facebook with the Cambridge Analytica. Am I pronouncing that right? Analytica scandal. 87 million profiles harvested without consent. Um, Iki, I can't even read this. I can't read this. Is it called I'm gonna put the word here, okay? I'm gonna put the word here and the logo. Exposed for private info for of 147 million people. Yahoo hack. There's been a Yahoo hack. I don't even know who uses Yahoo anymore. I do have a Yahoo email, but I made it recently. Anyway, 3 billion accounts compromised. Amazon Ring. Court giving police access to doorbell footage. Okay. And we also have Edward Snowden. Edward Snowden, if you see this video, please please share a comment. I don't know too much about Snowden. I think they call him a whistleblower for something. Like he's a guy who kind of exposed the NSA, and he had to flee to Russia. Edward Snowden, correct me if I'm wrong, please. I'm saying this like he's gonna see the video, but hey, if he does, let me know. Because I think he's super active on Twitter, no? Is he not active on Twitter like Edward Snowden? But apparently I think he's wanted or something like that now because he like exposed a lot of like US government secrets. So he's been in Russia for a while. I don't know for how long. I want to say probably over 10 years because so Russia's like cool with him. And yeah, I think if he was to go back, he is probably fearing for his life, or the NSA, CIA, FBI, or whatever they got over there. They probably want to have a few words with him. So I think he's safe where he's at. I don't know nothing. But here, Edward Snowden revealed how the NSA accessed Google, Apple, Facebook servers without warrants under the PRISM group. So that could be sensitive information as well. In France, after 2015, the government passed some sort of legislation, which is French. I didn't do French in school, I'm sorry. A surveillance law allowing broad intelligence gathering without court oversight. In Germany, intelligence agencies were found to have spied on journalists and foreign diplomats. So, this is the same freedom of speech that we're talking about, where not everyone, but people can have access to these super private servers and all of this and that. But we're too busy pointing the fingers at other people when in reality we all have our own issues. And then when we say stuff like, oh, we have freedom of speech, it mostly comes with conditions because we go to the social media apps and a lot of them try to censor things. Like I remember like COVID and vaccines, or if you speak about like Palestine and all of that, stuff will get censored, stuff will like get taken out. It's not all of a sudden, it's not in their terms of conditions to talk about this. All of a sudden, the things that you might be passionate about or the things you want to research about or educate yourself about, all of a sudden it doesn't fit their agenda anymore. And we might get into that for another video, but right now we're gonna focus about other stuff, other topics. So I have my trusty iPad here again, so I'm gonna read out a little bit more. For example, we had a data leak epidemic. So there were a bunch of data leaks, LinkedIn leaks, over 700 million users' infos were exposed, T-Mobile, personal data of 76 million customers were stolen. As we also mentioned, Facebook again itself had multiple leaks, including 533 million users' phone numbers. That's a very big oops. That's a very, very big oops. You know what I mean? I have more here. So we have data mining here. So we have Google Map tracks every movement unless you turn it off in 4 different settings. So they do make it very difficult. 4 different settings. And Google Maps, I'm not looking at settings. I'm just putting my destination in. Do you know what I mean? So they make it very difficult to turn it off, but they hide it under their terms of conditions that, oh yeah, we can track you I think that's wild. But we're gonna get back to that. We're gonna get back to that. Where was we? Google Maps. Amazon Alexa records snippets of conversations to improve your experience. So Meta, right? Meta, that's the parent company of both Facebook and Instagram, builds shadow profiles on people who don't even have accounts. This is all sold to data brokers, a $200 billion industry that trades our digital lives like stocks. So all these companies are gathering data on us and then selling them. You know, that's what it is. They're selling them, and that's where like these weird things come. Like, imagine I speak about candles. I don't know what kind of candle this is. I don't know. Let's say this is a cranberry candle, and I speak about cranberry candles. Why is it the next time I go on my phone or YouTube, I see a bunch of cranberry candles? Why is it when I speak about, I don't know, the Samsung Galaxy S25 Ultra, and then I see an ad for the Samsung Galaxy S25 Ultra? Is that not a little bit suspicious? Is it not? Is it not? Like, I don't know. Maybe there's something about it. I do have. So I feel like right now, in this day and age, a lot of companies guarantee you like these safeties and stuff like that. But I feel like we've been. What's the title of the video again? The end of privacy. Everyone is watching. So it's scary because some people have so much trust in these iClouds and the I forgot what's called, Dropbox, Google Images, what's it called, Google Drive, and we might be doomed. There might, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. There's everything is on servers and stuff like that. I'm not saying put everything on a cold memory stick and have it like stored away. Maybe you want to do that, put it in a hard drive or something like that. But nowadays, like, we are so bound to the digital world that like what is really ours, because all these companies sell our information for their goods, for their well-being, to make profit. And then we trust these companies with our birthdays and our phone numbers and you know, facial expressions, our fingerprints, our card information, everything that is our livelihood, just to be sold away for profit. You know what I mean? A lot of these apps are free, and a lot of people say nothing is really free. It comes at a cost. I don't know. I really don't know the quote. It was, if it's free, you pay for something else. Don't quote me, okay? Don't quote me. I really don't know that much. Okay, so I'm gonna read some metrics. I asked ChatGPT to write me something, and then we're gonna see. It's crazy because my last video, check it out, was about AI, and now I'm using AI here. So why is the US worse in some ways? So the US has no federal privacy law like Europe does. This means the companies can almost do anything with your data as long as you agree. So as long as we press agree on the terms and conditions, hey, shit might get wicked. Even if that agreement is hidden in 50 pages of legal jargon. At least in China's surveillance is transparent. So in China, we know the things that can be done and cannot be done, but yet they call it a controlled state. Whereas in the US, they do whatever, but they hide it between the terms of conditions and stuff like that. But then they want to call other people the bad guy. Kind of crazy for me, but okay. What else do we have? So in China, the surveillance is transparent. You know, it's the government. In the US, we have I don't know why it says we. In the US, they have thousands of shadowy third-party companies like tech brokers, analytics, and yeah, in China, the surveillance and stuff like that, everything is government controlled. Whereas like in the US, like it's not the data how our data is being handled, or the data over there. I'm just gonna say the US because Europe is a little bit different. They have third party like data analytics or data brokers. So it might be like sometimes in some cases, I'm gonna say as an example, Facebook might have a lot of data servers, but it's not Facebook dealing with the data itself, it's another company. So if that company has some sort of breach and one of their clients is Facebook, then it's kind of GG's. You know what I mean? GG's for good game. And that's where it is, where like in other countries and continents like China and Europe, everything is kind of controlled in like with the government, or like it has to be like somewhat secured, where like, you know what I mean? And the reason why I keep pointing to the US is because a lot of these big social media apps that we use are US based. Are they not? So it's kind of tricky. Yes, it's going to be different in Europe than it is in US, that the experience that you have, but it is something else. Here we have more examples. Here we have my trusty iPad. Meta was fined 1.2 billion euros by the EU in 2023 for violating data privacy. Google fined $4.3 billion for Android monopoly and data abuse. Clearview AI allegedly scraped billions of photos from social media. Again, very crazy. Okay, we are back. So yes, while the EU fights for because they are finding all these big companies so that they can still operate in Europe, because it is still a huge market, I guess. I think sometimes it takes a long time for these governments or these legislations to combat these things, and it takes a lot of time to also find out about these things, these leaks or these stuff that we don't know how long people are looking at our privacy and stuff like that. So a lot of things that we can do right now, maybe look at some other apps. Like maybe you have a flashlight app on your phone and it has access to your location and your contacts. Like, does something like a flashlight app really need access to your location or your contacts or your microphone or your photo gallery? You know what I mean? There's some apps that are just there for who knows what. You know what I mean? I think some apps, what was it? Wasn't it like some app that you downloaded and it made your face older or something like that? Was actually like just like a decoy, like a spy app or something like that. I don't know. But check out your apps, because these terms and conditions are very long, and a lot of these things that we enjoy, we can't actually use them without agreeing to these terms of conditions. And the reason why we also just click agree is because a lot of our friends have these apps. If all our friends are on WhatsApp and Instagram and on Facebook, if you use Facebook, well, great. Or Twitter or whatsoever, right? Yeah, we have to agree to the terms of conditions, but there's also ways to combat things, because all these apps, they need, well, I don't know how it is on Android, but I know, for example, on the iPhone, you can limit the access of things. So every time you use a microphone, it will, the first time you use a microphone and the camera, the app needs to ask for permission, or have access to your photo gallery and all of those stuff, or your microphone. Did I already say microphone? So if you want to feel a little bit more safe, I don't know how effective it is, maybe, you know, turn sharing stuff from your gallery off or something like that. Because for example, I won't do it, but at the same time, I don't think I'm a person of significance as of right now. Because yes, if there is a data breach and someone has access to all my photo gallery, you're just going to see a bunch of SpongeBob memes and then my YouTube drafts and then just screenshots of like, I don't know, shopping lists. You know what I mean? So for me personally, yes, we are, yes, just be careful what you do. You know what I mean? And also, I feel like people like to do this thing where they cover their laptop with the camera with a bit of tape. But then why wouldn't you do that for your phone? You know what I mean? Why wouldn't you check the permissions that your phone gives to certain applications? You know what I mean? I think putting a bit of tape cover on your laptop camera is so significant to all the other things that we have going on in your phone and stuff like that. You know what I mean? I'm not saying get a phone and cover all your cameras and stuff like that. I think for some phones it's not even good because they have like sensors and stuff like that. But it's crazy. Also, maybe you can also use privacy based or privacy focused browsers like Firefox or Brave or Telegram and Signal. I don't know how good these apps are. People use Signal because there is more privacy and stuff like that. There isn't, do you know what I mean? So maybe you can switch to some of those apps. But at the same time, again, I don't think there's much that we can do about it except wait for like these for the government, like let's say Europe and maybe the US to kick in and then be stricter on those things, because I know it's an issue because this happens to politicians. Politicians, their stuff gets leaked and stuff like that. And if the politicians use the same platforms and the same phones as we do, and they want to protect themselves, they have to protect us too. So I guess what we have to do is be more careful. And again, maybe in life, instead of pointing the finger over there and say, hey, these people are bad because they have surveillance and all of this and stuff like that, because it's a safe country over there. And I don't know, instead of trying to distract the things that you got going on, maybe we should focus on our apps and our systems instead of pointing the finger to China. Because again, I don't have an issue with the US, I don't have an issue with Europe, I don't have an issue with China, but I'm just saying it's a bit of a weak move to just say, oh yeah, this is wrong over here, but we do exactly the same or even worse as them over there, but because you agree to it with the terms and conditions, or we bury everything under these terms and conditions, under 50 pages and stuff like that, we are better. And now we can sell your data and stuff like that. So a lot of these companies are operating with these loopholes. And so yeah, be more careful, I guess. Instead of clicking just accept cookies and stuff like that, I'm trying to accepting cookies. Some of us don't care. All right, if you don't care, you don't care. I don't really care too much. But at the same time, I see the more I'm looking at the news and stuff like that, it's becoming an issue. All these data breaches, data leaks and stuff like that, because all these big giant tech companies are having these loopholes and like these big terms of conditions, or this sense of illusion where they think we are in control because they give us all these options, but they still access this data, or our data is being sold off. So yes, be careful because we are being watched, but at the same time, not all of us serve, I know that sounds harsh, serve like huge significance where, you know what I mean, like me alone, one person, I don't think they really care about like my data, but like if it's 10,000s of me or 100,000s of me and they can, you know, it's a difference. But again, stay safe out there, like, comment and subscribe. That's going to be the end of the video. Woo! And I'll see you at the next video.